hello, the two people waiting. This is a surprise live stream. So it wasn't announced anywhere. And it's an inspiration. After watching The Revolting Man tonight, Pastor and I were talking, and he said, you should talk about the earthquake. I said, all right, I'll do it. And then I was going to do a video, and then I thought, I'll do a live stream. It's a little bit more fun for me. So there's Teresa. Hey, Teresa. And she's a moderator. Yay. Thanks for signing in there, Teresa. It's kind of late at night. I understand that. But, and there's Aid. Hey, Aid. I was wondering if anybody from the Revolting Man live stream would show up here. It was kind of a fun live stream. I only sat in on the last couple of minutes, but I forget Revolting Man's first name.
See?
Zach. Yes, Zach. Was
Zach with an E.
With an E, yeah. He was kind of animated, he was having fun, and there were a lot of preppers in there that we recognized, and so it was like, yeah, let's just say howdy. That's where I got on. I was like, I've never seen you on this late. Yeah, well, you've got to shake things up sometimes. And Pastor was hungry, and hello, heart of a Torah woman, long time no see. Hope you're doing well, you and your family.
See you on my thing.
And there's Susan Bryant. Hello, I can't believe I'm catching a live. I haven't had you on a live in a long time. If you want to catch us up, how are things going? How are the kids? How's homeschooling? And thanks for supporting the channel. Rock Lick Ranch, earthquake? ? Yes, that is my lead in because I have yesterday experienced an earthquake. And I will get into that story there in a minute, but that is not the only earthquake I have been in. And I will also tell you that story. So give me 2 minutes. 20 people are in here. That's probably enough for me to get started. But all y'all who are signing in, please say hello at least. Shalom or good night. Aid said it woke up Biddy Boo. I bet it did. I think she's probably a lot closer. Top of the evening to you, and top of the evening to you in return. And the Aid's a moderator, so behave yourselves, or he or Teresa are going to take care of things. And there's Amber for Freedom, long time no see. An engineer to succeed, shalom. Harbinger 514, hello. Schooner Desire, shalom, y'all. And Teresa's got the thumbs up and the check mark. She's doing good. I'm far enough north, I didn't feel the quake. Okay. There's the Covenant Homestead. Shalom, Sister Kate. Shalom, Covenant Homestead. How are y'all? All right. There's 24 of you. There's 6 thumbs up, so I can get started. Let's see. It was tonight's the night. What do they call it? Or Rev Shabbat or whatever. Shabbat's over. So it was last night. It was
Shabbat over.
Prep night evening, late. And I was up derping on my phone and on my computer. One finished with school and he's thriving out on his own. I seem to be more busy, blessed, and serving our Father. Amen. I love hearing that. And there's Lynn Wilkerson. Hello. Okay, so I'm up late. It's prep night. I've spent all day prep day trying to get ready around here and, doing as much as I can, understanding that I cannot get everything done perfectly in one day. So I do what I can. I cook the food. I get the floor swept. I've got the animals fed, and I'm enjoying that kind of late night time to myself where I can derp on my phone and derp on my computer and things like that. And I'm getting kind of sleepy. And it was around 11 o'clock for us. Oh, photobomb.
And I'm already very much asleep.
Yeah, he was zonked out. And so my computer's on my lap, and I hear this thump, thump, thump noise. And I think it's the dogs. Because our dogs, if they're under the bed and they're itching or whatever, it'll be like a thump, thump, thump. Yeah, nice sound effect, honey. Thank you. And it's not real loud, so I think they're messing around. So I kind of, shh dogs or something like that. Sundown came. I shut down my electronics and just enjoyed Shabbat. And so that happens, and I'm still derping on my computer. And then the same thing happens, only it sounds like and feels like the dogs are under our bed, but our bed can't do that. Like our bed does not have space under it. And I'm like, that's weird. Like, that's not the dogs. And so I'm like lifting up the computer and looking, and they're not there. And then there was one more shaking, and it shook the bed, and it shook the wall. This wall looks just like the wall behind our bed. Shook the wall. Like I could hear the wall thunk, 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 thunk. And that's when I realized, holy snap,
Trouble now, Lord.
we are having an earthquake. And we've been in what, 2 other earthquakes here, I think, since we
One
lived
here.
here? Well, one right after we got here, and then one a little bit while later, I thought.
I remember the one after we got here when we used to sleep in the living room.
Yeah, we were sleeping in the living room, and that one was like a 3-2 or something. Well, this one last night that shook the bed and the wall and lasted for like 10 seconds was the 5.1 one that's been on the news and everything. And just as it started, as I realized it was happening, I shook my husband like, wake up, Joe, wake up. And he wakes up usually pretty startled and, trying to be alert, like, what? Then, as soon as I did that, it stopped shaking. And so I said, I think we had an earthquake. And
I brought the calm to the storm.
yeah, right. Okay. And he's like, no, it's not an earthquake. It's not shaking. And I'm like, no, like it just shook. And first thing he does is like grab his phone and he starts looking probably at what, the USGS
Yeah.
website, because what do you call it? Oh my gosh, USGS is United States Geological Survey, does post like earthquakes from around the world in different locations and things like that. And so he's like, there's nothing there. And I'm going, look, I felt this thing 3 times. I'm pretty sure it was an earthquake. And so,
Texted all the shofar.
and then I got on the phone and I'm texting the other chauffeur and it's like, did you guys just feel an earthquake? And immediately one of the sisters is like, yeah, we're awake. We thought our house was falling apart. And then more, you know what I'm saying? More Shafarians were like, yeah, something happened. And it wasn't about 5 minutes later that you found he found like a news thing or a geological survey thing that said, yes, there was an earthquake, and it was
Prague, Oklahoma.
Yeah, Prague, Oklahoma, which is hours away. But we felt it pretty strongly. And because it was so late at night, I know there were lots of people who were like, what do you mean earthquake? There was no earthquake, or I didn't feel the earthquake or whatever. It happened, but so many people were asleep and asleep deeply that they didn't wake up. But I was awake and felt it all. And if it had done anything more than it did, we would have hopped out of bed, because the strongest part was only about 10 seconds long. But if it had been like more than that, I know my husband, he's very fast with his reflexes, and I was wide awake. So we would have just zipped out the door. So that is the first part of tonight's live stream story. There is another story about earthquakes coming up in a second, but I want to look at y'all's comments. Because here's some people. Hey, Suze is here. Yay, cool. Let me back up. Okay, there's Lost Light. Those dogs love their mom. It's true. 29 in? Oh, okay. Get after it, Krew. Shalom, campers, a JS Badger. New Madrid getting ready to cut loose? ? I don't think it is New Madrid. New Madrid is not in that direction from us. Hey, SK, I slept right through it. See, there's Tim Pack. He was on the other live stream too. And then Engineer to Succeed said, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and famine and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. North Central Arkansas didn't notice anything. Yes, you can look at them. And there's Jesus. Thanks for supporting the channel, Jesus. We felt it. Felt like when it's really windy and the camper shakes, but it wasn't windy then. That's exactly right. I was talking to a sister today who lives in an RV, and she said that's what she felt also, that it felt like the wind shaking the RV. And so I think she asked her husband, like, is there any wind outside? And he said no. So it had some energy. It woke the birds up and they showed up on radar. Wow. I slept through it. There's Jeff Tobe. I'm in California, been through one. It was a roller, not a shaker. 5.1 magnitude about 20 hours ago. Same one out there. Well, it depends on where you are. The one I felt was in Prague, Oklahoma. You watch Dutchson's on YouTube. He has been showing earthquake patterns since 2010. Tracy, no, I don't, but that doesn't mean he's wrong or anything else. Like, there are channels that report and record earthquakes. So we used to watch a channel where he did all the natural disasters. What was that one called?
Dutchins?
Is it Dutchins?
Oh, no, BP Earthwatch.
BP Earthwatch? You and I used to watch it, though. It'd be like the storms, the dead fish. BP Earthwatch. The red rivers. Like, I've watched a channel like that before. Dutch Sense is awesome to its last, like Jeff Tubb said. Yep, the same one. Wow. Dutch is pretty good. There's Jay Whip. Shalom. Now, we have not noticed any after effect, but another sister was watching whatever news reports and said there were 23 aftershocks, which is not unusual in a real earthquake. There's a lot of usually pre-shocks and aftershocks. The ground shifting kind of builds up and has a peak and then slows back down. So that is the earthquake story. But there's another earthquake story. Would you guys like to hear that one? I know, it's from my past. Dutch is based out of St. Louis, and he did cover this late last night as it happened. Schooner says, yes, currently living in Ohio, but family in Southwest Missouri. I am Dano. They felt it too. Now, the funny thing is, yes, please. The first one I saw in Washington State, the asphalt had waves roll through. I was laughing. The rest of the lab was really shook up. And then Tracy says, yes. Artifact woman says, yes. What if it was a pre-quake? Right? Well, I think there'd be news stories saying that the aftershocks and everything indicate it could be bigger. All right, so we are turning back time. Come with me back into the past. I was about, I don't know.
Long ago in a land far.
Yes, long, long ago in a land far, far away. I think I was around 8 years old, something like that.
Third grade.
Yeah, I think it was second or third grade, and I'm in the Pacific on an island. Sounds like PJ's got the sniffles. Redneck Prepper says he's got allergies going on. Redneck Prepper. Yes, I'm with my family, and we are on an island in the Pacific. And we had just gotten done with church. It was probably a Sunday because we were Catholic back then. And, all dressed up. I remember being kind of dressed up and at somebody else's house with other families. So it was probably all the Catholics getting together and the parents having coffee or something after service. And all of a sudden, I think I was already outside. The ground starts shaking. And so I'm out there with a group of kids. We're talking to each other or playing or whatever. And we noticed like the ground is shaking. And then I looked over and saw cars sitting in the road and the cars are doing this. And so I run inside. It was me and probably a couple other kids, find my mom and be like, Mom, the cars are moving outside. And I think the adults hadn't really been paying attention. So they all spilled out into the road and could see the shaking, and come to find out that was a 7.3.
Yeah, we looked it up one
We
time.
looked it up one time. It has a name too. It was a big one. And it was the Philippine Islands. And I think it was a 7.3. Like it shook, but particular area we were in, there was not a lot of like collapse and damage for whatever reason. But it was a big one, like very, and it went on probably for like 3 minutes or something. You know, it's a big one if it goes on for more time. Yeah, minutes versus like seconds. Has anybody else been in an earthquake? Somebody else on here said they were in one, excuse me, in California. Excuse me. Protestants were saying earthquake, and the Catholics were asking, what did we do? What did we do to deserve this? Right? What sins did we commit and make the Lord unhappy with us? There's Lamb Keeper. Well, hello. Glad I stayed up past my bedtime. Yeah, you came in a little late, though. I told two, not just one, but two earthquake stories. You'll have to watch the replay video to get caught up on them. How are you doing? Anybody else? Anybody else in an earthquake? Waiting to...
in one in Taiwan.
Oh, PJ said he was in one in Taiwan. How big was it?
4th grade. I don't know, but a fluorescent bulb came out of the lamp and crashed onto the floor of my school classroom that I was in.
Oh, fluorescent light fell out on the one he was in Taiwan. We were in New York like 20-something years ago. I'll never forget the sound the earth made, but glad it was not a bad one.
Ask Errol what his parents did for a living.
I was in one in Ohio in the 80s. I don't remember ever hearing of a what do you call it? Earthquake in Ohio. That's wild.
Ask Errol what his parents did for a
Errol
living.
Kavlak. I was in a small one in 1967 in Istanbul, Turkey. What were you doing in Istanbul? What were your parents doing? Working for somebody?
Who were they working for?
Any damage done to your place? Not that we noticed, Susan Bryant. And Amber said it was like a gentle roll, not a jerk or a shake. There's a really good book out there. Doing well, waiting for a well to be drilled. Oh, that's exciting. I've been in a bunch in California, Loma Prieta or Prieta, etc.
Yeah.
Prieta. All right, hang on. I was about to just roll into something. I can't remember. Oh, rolling. Yes. Okay. So there's a really good book on earthquakes called 8.4. And if you haven't read it, it is good. And I'm pretty sure even in that book, they describe earthquakes. Earthquakes don't just happen one way. Like Amber said, might be a roll. You can sometimes see the ground rolling, as someone said in there. Earthquakes can also shake this way. And they can shake so hard that the ground liquefies. And stuff falls down into it. Because it's waves, traveling through the ground, and there's different ways and different pressures, and you can have stuff like bunch up and you can have stuff curl down. No one has yet successfully predicted the exact moment when a quake happens, but we're getting smarter about the precursors, the pre-quakes and stuff. I felt a tremor here in North Carolina. Thought I dreamt it until the news came on. I sat, Lamp Keeper. It shook the bed under me. Okay. Yep. California 70s grapevine quake. I watched the pool water come over the fence. That's pretty dramatic. I was 10. Driving south on the 5. Schooner, you have to have been to California, the way you're describing that already. South of the bay, and it was a slow roller. I thought the highway was messed up. Didn't know what it was until later watching the news, right? See the thing do like a thing like that, and like roads aren't supposed to act that way. Lol. Aid, you ever feel an earthquake in England? Visiting relatives. They were visiting relatives in Istanbul. My stepmom's dad worked for the agriculture department for Turkey. He wrote a book called Flowers. There's Rocklick Ranch. I'm loving the sound effects along with your hand gestures. Well, that's the best way to describe it, right? Ooh, the ocean is, whoa. Ooh, I'm starting to get motion sick. All right. On Monday, July 13th, 1970 at 6:15 p.m. Mine was around 1970, 70 or 71. Let me go back to what your other comment was.
There shall be
The-
earthquakes in diverse places.
The grapevine quake. That's it. Pacific Island dance hand gestures, right? Little aloha movement. Aloha. Oi. Pacific Island. And there's Dusty. I thought Mom was shaking the bed to wake me up. I mean, when you're in a bed, like I said, I thought the dogs were like scratching or something. You know how dogs back leg, thank you, back leg will thump the ground or whatever when it's scratching. That's what I thought was happening. Everybody knows you don't stay inside if you can help it. You want to get out of the house because your house could collapse. Kyle M. Shalom. I'm late. Earthquakes no fun. Lived through Fukushima. Whoa, it was slow and long. What were you doing? Were you in Japan at the time? Holy cow. Off balance washing machine right next to the bed, right? Going. Woke us up in southern Oklahoma. Yeah, it would. There was one in New England 2 weeks ago. Did you know that?
I did not. How big was it? I mean, there's earthquakes all the time. Right?
There are earthquakes all the time, that's true, but how big was the one in New England?
Andy said tonight that they're downgrading the earthquakes. When it's a 7, they're saying it's a 6. When it's a 6, they're saying it's a 5.
Really?
Yeah. So he said it was probably a 6. So they know what's going on. They're trying not to scare people.
They're trying not to scare people, so they're downgrading them. I didn't know that. My mother told the story of one happening when my older brother was on the potty. He said, "What's that? What's that?" Yeah, you would if you're on the potty, and you know you're not in a porta potty having someone rock it while you're in it. Errol Cadillac said it was a small one in New England. Well, there's been a few big ones around the world, right? Like lately, wasn't
I
there?
kind of pay attention when they're 7s or above.
Yeah, but there was like a 7 or something somewhere.
Like off of Indonesia, I think.
Off of Indonesia, because if the plate tectonics theory is right, then if Indonesia's having something happen over there, then there's going to be an equal and opposite or some sort of effect from that one in other places. So, I mean, Indonesia's off the west coast. So I would have expected something on the west coast. There's 7, Heather, 7. I'm from the Ozarks, but adopted in Japan. When I was 15, lived there for 15 years. I became a white cat, black cat via the Koreas. Wow, that's really interesting background. Fukushima had to have been scary because of the tidal wave. Some people in Manhattan felt it in the high rises. That would be so scary. That would be so scary. You know, if you have a dream about a high rise and you're on the top of it and it starts doing this thing, that means that you don't feel confident in what's happening in your life at that time. Like you feel like you're out of control. Look forward to do your hiking. Have experience with international child kidnapping.
What about the ruckus?
Oh, the ruckus. Yep, that energy is going to go somewhere as an engineer to succeed. I don't know that we're hiking though. I think we're just on the sidelines of that. Like, I don't know that I'm actually going to do any walking, but I'll probably be watching. Shalom, says Crazy Canuck. We felt it in the OKC. Yeah, it's probably was pretty close to you. Lost Light says, I'll be at the ruckus. Have experience with it. Yeah, I don't have any influence over those ministries and stuff. I'm just a bystander. Oh, no high rises. I grew up with the movie Towering Inferno, right? That thing was pretty crazy. I forgot about that. I remember watching that one. Earthquakes would just be fine.
Good. I need to try and find that again.
Right? That was very scary. Oh, wait. Orangu Batulaga says, Sayenu haha. Is that
What?
look at Arangu Batuga's comment.
See it.
It's above Susan Bryant. Sainu haha.
I don't know.
I'm subscribed to Dutch Sense on YouTube. He keeps up with earthquakes and predicts them. Interesting to watch. Yes, someone else mentioned that. Andy on Guam says, no. Is that no towering inferno? Lots happening in North Carolina mountains. There's a magma chamber under Mount LeConte. I'm speculating if it has something going on they're not reporting. Ooh. Laura's Corner. Shalom, Sis Kate. I'm from Costa Rica, now living in Florida. Growing up, I felt many earthquakes there. The feeling is awful. Very scary. Yeah, when the ground's moving under you and you don't know why, that would be terrifying. And I don't know if you heard me say, I was in 7.3 in the Philippines in the 70s, so I know what that looks like. I love your mug. Is that granite ware? I'm a sucker for black and white spotty things. It's actually blue and white, and it's enamelware, so you could call it granite ware. And I bought this like several years ago, a whole set, and I had it in a box for like a special day, and then
Shalom.
and recently I said, why the heck am I not using these things? So I got rid of a lot of the plasticware that I had and busted out the whole set, and I really like it. They're easy to clean. I was 5 minutes from the shore in Osaka via a sky rise. All the water disappeared but went north from the canals. It was weird, slow waves and made me sick looking at my PC. Yeah, when the water goes away from the shore like that and disappears, that's when you know a tidal wave is coming and you got to get to the high ground. Apparently, hang on. Apparently, when the Indonesia tidal wave happened, the big one recently, there were elephants that were down on the beach side. Maybe they were being used for a circus or a show or something, and they booked it to the mountains. And then the next day, that thing happened. We'll be at the ruckus too. Right on. There's Palmetto. Shalom. There's Coco. Shalom to SK. Yeah. I'm looking forward at the ruckus to Angry Prepper. He is one of the speakers. And I'm looking forward to seeing Jason again. He's a nice guy, and I met him in Kentucky on that Grindstone Ministry tornado thing that I went to. And I just thought of it too. I should get that guy to make a burger. He makes really good burgers. I wonder if I can make that happen somehow. Anyway. All right. There is Jacqueline Hembry. Shalom. All right. So those earthquake stories are over. If you want to see them, you can watch it on the video when this thing turns over. But I would love to hear about who is suffering from spring fever right now. Who is thinking about seeds, ordering seeds, planting their garden, getting their soil ready.
100 pounds of feed in our car.
Huh?
We have 100 pounds of feed in our car.
I know we do. I'm waiting for you to unload that so I can feed the critters that. I met Jason in Mississippi. He's a good fellow. Me. 7Heather7 says. Me, says Japtub. I have my maple trees tapped. I'm in Michigan. I have not had time. I've tapped 5 trees, but I have not had time to go check the sap. And someone went and checked it for me, and it was brown. That's not good. And I really need to get out there because now is the time. Just really busy. North Idaho, a bit early yet. Yeah, unless you had a greenhouse where you could maybe start some things. Me, I got starts to put out tomorrow. Yay! Me, I was thinking about it before Northwest Arkansas Prepper made his video. I've already been buying seeds and indoor grow lights and potting soil, right? All of a sudden your purchases go from things like hats and gloves and scarves and coats and hot cocoa to potting soil and seed packets and fertilizer and vermiculite. we already bought some seeds, and I know we have seeds. We have a bunch of seeds. Now, in my defense, we did not have any spinach seeds, and so I bought spinach seeds last time I was at the store, and I already planted one whole pack out in my greenhouse because the icy weather had killed some of the blocks worth of plants in there, and so I'm like, no, I got to get this stuff in there. So I put some improved soil in and stuck the spinach seeds in there. And don't you know, our weather kind of warmed up a little bit, and it was 90 degrees in there when it was 50 outside. Like, that greenhouse plastic is very effective. Okay, so, oh my gosh, I can't wait to read that. That's going to be an awesome comment right there. Okay, Jerusalem artichokes, radishes, and wild edibles. Not sure if it will be a wet or dry year, hot or cold, right? Waiting for PJ to unload the feed. That was perfect. I did the same to my husband. That's right. I have to relearn everything. We came from Michigan to eastern Oklahoma, so I don't know when to plant anything. Well, I will tell you this, Seven Heather. It is not too early to start planting your cold weather crops. The broccoli, onions, garlic, radishes, lettuce, peas, all that stuff you can start because it's going to get hot. Like midsummer, it's too hot for a lot of those coldish plants, so you can start planting those right now. And then, like in May, put your tomatoes and your cucumbers and your melons and everything out. Got my delivery today of seed and picking up 300 pounds of taters and 10 cases of onions to get in before Veterans Day. Holy smokes. I barely get 5 pounds in, but I should try to do more. So Teresa says, have a good night. Good night, Teresa. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Was 70 degrees in the Missouri Ozarks, right? And I just did a video, it should be coming out in the morning, about the signs of spring in our area. Popeye is on his way to check the spinach. Hey, Suze. Hi, 7 Heather 7. Do you store your seeds in Mylar? Everyone says a freezer, but I don't want to do the freezer. I have a lot of seeds already in Mylar, and hoping that's the best for long term. I would think for long term it would be. I'm really horrible about the seeds. They're in plastic bags in a bin in the house. So if the house gets really cold, the seeds get really cold. It's probably not very good for them. But off grid, it's not an ideal way to store things, I don't think. We've stockpiled leftover plastic tubs after purging so that we can start planting after we finally get to move back on our land. Well, that's a smart plan there. Thankfully, I also have Jesus to help me too with planting details. She's the best. I have no doubt. Really wanting to stock them on pokeweed this year. Would love to find some more pawpaws. I would like to find pawpaws too. I don't think there are any on our property, but I would love, well, I tried to plant a pawpaw tree. Someone gave me pawpaws locally, and I took the seeds and I put them in fertile soil, but I couldn't tell if they actually went or not. But the poke, we have poke, and I didn't do anything to make it grow. It just showed
I
up.
don't want to eat anything you gotta boil 3 times and get rid of the water. I mean, come on.
I didn't say we ate it.
Yeah, it grows all over.
The chickens eat the dried seeds and the goats eat the leaves. It's time to get started on plants and planting for sure. Seed party. 2 of my seed totes. That's a lot of seeds. Hey, Scrappy Cat. Shalom. We talked about earthquakes earlier on in the live stream, Scrappy Cat. So if you want to hear those stories, you'll just have to watch when it turns into a video. Right now we're talking about seeds and gardening and who's got seed fever and who wants to get their hands dirty and get plants in the soil. Well, everyone says the freezer, but what if the grid goes down is what I'm thinking. Mylar or mason jars I would think would be best. Yeah, maybe a dehydrator, but maybe if you can get them in the ground so they stay at constant temperature. I accidentally killed some pomegranate last year, felt bad. A friend gave them to me for pokeweed. It's everywhere, and I just boil it and dry it for later. Yeah, I've never tried to do pomegranate. I mean, there's supposedly 600 seeds in each pomegranate plant, but I have yet to be able to,
13, right?
yeah, 613. I've yet to be able to get a fruit tree to grow from a seed. And I have tried like cutting limbs and sticking them in soil like you're supposed to and scraping it and root grow and nothing. Although I have another greenhouse my husband bought me for my birthday, and we get that up, who knows? Maybe it'll do better than the kind of janky one I have out there now. Banana peppers for the win! I like banana peppers too. He's the pepper guy. He's the one who does the peppers more. But for cooking and just adding into everything, I like them because they're mild. The hubby said he's eaten pokeweed all his life with no issues. I'm not slamming anybody who wants to eat it, but I personally have not eaten pokeweed. I have other weeds I like to eat, like curly dock and clover and things like that. Poke has a lot of vitamin A in it, which is why I think the goats like the dry version of it. Ugh. Home Depot is king for fruit trees, but gets pricey. And Dusty, if you notice, because I've bought one or two, they are a root stock with something grafted on. And a lot of times that graft is weak. And I have not found them to be very hardy. Living in California, so earthquakes are the norm for us, but we were just talking about seeds in my groups tonight. I got my seed potatoes last week. Can't wait to get them in the ground. Yeah, Kyle M said he's going to buy 300 pounds. That is so many potatoes. I might put potatoes up in that area of our property where I grew the turnips last year. That soil up there is pretty fruitful. I have a lot of hope for growing some other stuff up there. I'm going to try sunflower circle garden with a yard bean. That sounds like it'd be pretty too. I mushed the pomegranate juice out using a strainer and then planted the seeds right away, and they grew. The seeds I let dry and then planted didn't grow. Citrus seems to work the same way. That's a good tip, Jesus. I have had good luck with pears and peach trees from Home Depot. All have done well. You're probably just better at planting them than I am. Let's just be real about it. And also the soil we have is not great here. And yeah, so you've probably just done a better job. I do have one in my greenhouse that lasted from last summer and had leaves on it till just recently. I think it's still alive. It's an apple tree, and it'll get in the ground come spring. Any advice on what to plant on the side of a mountain that's rocky and wooded? We have some growable land, but looking to utilize some of the mountain too. Vines, grapevines, bushes, maybe some raspberries or blackberries, maybe some greens, try some mustard greens and stuff. The problem with things like that is rocky and wooded, it's usually the soil's acidic and not enough sunlight. So butternut squash has grown pretty good around here. Disclosure, we have a commercial veggie farm. Oh, okay, well that explains it. Gotta boil poke twice before you eat it? No, thanks. Josh Allen the best. Hey, I'm new. Yes, you are. Welcome to the live stream. Susan Bryant. Studies show that hands in the soil helps with depression. I'll tell you what helps me. Yes, getting my hands in the soil helps me, but just going outside helps my mood. Just getting out in the grass and the wind and the sun and the birds singing and all that. Gave my uncle tomato seeds and plants and everything needed to plant them in pots because it became wheelchair bound. He was so much happier. Be careful with a circle garden as they produce a lot of shade on other areas. We do it every year for the kids. There's a great book on sunflower circles. Vacuum seal them. Pass some more climate resistant. All right, y'all. I think I'm done. Live stream wise, I'm getting tired. Pastor's getting tired. I appreciate everyone coming and commenting, and all the people who support the channel. Thank you so much for that. yeah, there should be video out tomorrow. Because of the health stuff, I haven't really been uploading much, videos and things like that, but I'm trying to just get enough that you guys know I'm still out here. So, yeah, thanks everyone who came. I appreciate every single one of you. And I'm excited. I want to hear more about your gardens when they start coming up. Right, y'all, bless you. Nice to see you guys too. Shalom.